If he wants to sign off on his rights, I'm perfectly fine with it, and I wouldn't have a problem not receiving child support from him.
We have received information on that the father is currently incarcerated in jail, not prison, in Denton County. So today we'd like to ask the court for a temporary order and for us to return to see if the father is still in jail. One moment, Your Honor, to give you that proposed return date. Our proposed return date would be January 22nd, 2024.
All right.
All right. I will now call the mother. Ma'am, can you state your name for the record?
Yes, it's Shayla Ringo.
And Ms. Rangel, can you tell the judge the name and age of the child or children in this case?
Yes, his name is Noah Hurtado, and his age, he just turned 2.
Okay. And who does the child live with?
He lives with me.
Okay. And when the child was born, did you and the father fill out some legal paperwork saying that he was the father?
Yes, he is on the birth certificate.
Okay. And also on a document called an acknowledgement of paternity?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like for you to take judicial notice of the court's record that shows the acknowledgement of paternity on our pleading with the court.
So noted.
Okay. Ma'am, are you asking the court that today you be named the sole managing conservator of this child, or would you like joint managing conservatorship with the father?
Ma'am, I don't want no joint. I want to have like full custody, so full responsibility, full action towards the kid.
And ma'am, you understand that custody and conservatorship are two different things.
Okay. What the first one, which
So,
was the sole.
if I may, are you asking the court that you be the one to make the day-to-day decisions over the child's
Yes.
life?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And even though that the father is incarcerated under sole managing conservatorship, you would make the final decision and keep the father reasonably informed. Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, are you asking for a geographic restriction to Dallas and surrounding counties for the child's address?
Yes.
Okay. And how is your child currently covered through insurance?
It's Medicaid.
Do you have any private insurance?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And ma'am, the state is asking, since the father is incarcerated, for medical support to be set at 0. Do you object to that?
Oh, yes, I understand. That's fine.
And we would say the same thing for child support, for it to be set at 0.
Correct.
And at the moment, we are also asking that we reserve the issue of back child support, retroactive support, until that final trial. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
And that we also address the court cost on that final trial day on January 22, 2024.
Yes.
And ma'am, if the father is released, let's say tomorrow, what is the type of visitation that you think would be in the best interest of your child?
It's how I had spoke to the one who had took my notes down. I had told her that I'm not gonna allow any visitation due to past problems that I've had with him. I documented it whenever I filed for the child support. I'm just not sure if it is in the system, but I've had been past family violence towards me.
Okay, so let's take that one step at a time. Let's look at, we can't necessarily bring up other conversations that you had before, you were here in the courtroom. That's hearsay, but I will try to get to what you're talking about. Is it your position that at this moment, until the next, case, that there should be no visitation?
Correct.
Okay. And can you tell the judge what charge is the father facing at the moment?
At the moment for Denton County Jail, it was for tamper evidence and some controlled substance charges.
Okay. Is he facing other charges presently?
Well, whenever he was in TDC, which he served his 2 years, he did have other controlled substance charges. It was manufactured delivered, I believe, and then unlawful possession of firearm, and then it was the family terroristic threat, which that charge was the one that he received the day he got incarcerated from the altercation that happened with me.
All right, so let's go a little bit further into that. So now we're talking about a conviction. So are you saying, is it your testimony today that the father has a conviction for terroristic threat against a family member?
Yes, it was at my household.
Okay. And is it your testimony that he served time in TDJC custody for that charge and conviction?
He's time whenever he was in Dallas County before he got transferred to TDC.
Okay. Who was that threat against, ma'am?
It was against me.
Okay. And what happened?
It was an altercation that happened, which had to do with me going to work, and he had a disagreement about it. So I had to go inside with my parents, and my parents came out to talk to him, but he wasn't going with it. He wasn't having anything to do with it. And it came to the point where he started walking back and forth in front of our house with a firearm in his hand, saying that if anything that crosses his path, he would shoot. That's whenever the police was called and they had took him in, and he's been incarcerated since then.
Okay. And what year did this happen?
It was in 2021.
Okay. So what month of 2021?
It was in December. I'm just not exactly sure the day. I believe it was the 18th, if I'm not mistaken.
When he was walking around in front of your house holding the gun, did he say anything to you?
He was telling me that if I didn't come out towards the truck to where he had the truck parked, that he was gonna go himself and get me from my dad's yard.
Okay. Ma'am, was your child present when this happened?
He was inside.
Did he know what was happening?
No, he was about 3 months old.
Okay. Besides this instant of family violence, which it sounds like it was within the last 2 years, has there been any other types of instances regarding family violence between you and the father?
Not since he's been incarcerated, I've tried having communication with him so he could have communication with my son and see him through videos. But there has came to points where he'll tell me that he's gonna take my son away from me. But it's really mainly been threats for him saying that he's gonna take my son away from me.
Okay. And ma'am, are you asking for your address to be kept from the court record?
Yes, please.
Okay. And are you asking that the judge make a legal finding that there has been family violence?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have anything else you would like to say?
Um, it was one question that I had, because I know since whenever he got served recently, he did make a phone call to me and let me know that he did get served. But he was telling me that he didn't want to be put on child support. He just wanted to go ahead and sign off on his rights. I'm just not sure since he's not here present for him to speak on it. I'm not sure how that will work for him or how we could work that out. Because I agree with if he wants to sign off on his rights, I'm perfectly fine with it, and I wouldn't have a problem not receiving child support from him.
And ma'am, just to clarify the state's position, you understand that we have not pled for an involuntary voluntary termination of parental rights. You understand that the state has not filed any paperwork with this judge, right?
Okay. Yes.
And that it would be up to the parties whether they wanted to at any moment to file that paperwork of involuntary or voluntary termination of parental rights. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Okay. I pass the witness.
Rangel, under no circumstances would I ever allow a person to terminate their rights unless there's a real indication that someone else is going to step up and take over the position of the father. Children deserve a father and a mother, not just a mother taking care of them. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm going to find family violence, and I'm not going to order any cash, medical, or child support. But you guys are going to go back to court on January 22nd, 2024. At that time, if Mr.
Hurtado.
Yeah, I was looking for his name. Mr. Hurtado is not incarcerated, then at that time he should be ordered to pay cash, medical, and child support and retroactive child support if that is appropriate. I'm going to grant the non-disclosure. Now, don't forget that on January 22nd, is that going to be in court or is that Zoom?
I'm at Zoom, but let me double check, Your Honor.
It's probably going to be Zoom.
Zoom, Your Honor.
You need to call back on January 22nd, 2024 at 8:30 in the morning. You have any questions, Ms. Rangel?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Then Ms. Correa is going to email you a copy of the order. You can press leave and you're free to go. Thank you, ma'am.
I cheated on you. He's not yours. You've told me that at least 5 to 6 times.
It wasn't in question until I went and pulled up some old medical records. And again, I had kept all that to myself. The first and only people I shared any doubt with was Attorney General.
I figured this would be the time to bring that up since that increased without my knowledge.